We'll get started with the actual, conversation at 2:05. But you guys both doing?
This is Teiahsha. I'm doing well. It's a gray morning here in Oakland, California. It was super sunny yesterday, but so it's kind of like a slow rollout of the day. But
Do people in Oakland do they cheer for the Los Angeles Rams?
uh, not usually. They
Yeah,
cheer for the San Francisco 49ers or the Warriors, but I'm from LA, so I cheer for the Rams for
there you go.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Oakland much closer to 49ers. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, we're like 15 minutes from San Francisco and about 5 hours by car from Los Angeles.
Yeah, quite a difference. California, big state. Few people know that.
Yeah.
Randy, how about yourself? How was your weekend?
Yeah, sorry, I was getting a little technical difficulty here. It
Oh,
was
no
good.
problem.
I'm actually in Dallas, been here for a conference, and I missed out on the heat wave.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, well, no, not good.
Oh,
It's amazing to get that kind of weather.
oh, right.
Yeah.
Um,
Randy, and
yeah.
let me tell you, this is Teiahsha. I was skiing yesterday in Northern California and it was 70 degrees. So imagine that,
Skiing is
I was skiing and it was 70 degrees. It was unbelievable. We were in shorts and tank tops on the slopes.
we are
That's wild.
spoiled in
Yeah.
Northern California, and my heart was a little broken. I grew up in Jersey actually, but grew up a Niners fan, and that we got a chance to witness that late '80s, early '90s stretch of greatness. Definitely was heartbroken a couple past 2 weeks ago, I guess, when the Rams got.
Mhm.
But I have a lot of friends that were in LA, and they were gonna party no matter what happened. But yeah, I'm always rooting for a win for Cali, though.
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm a Falcons fan, so I'm just constantly miserable.
there's always next year.
Always next year. All right, guys. I think we're on 2:05 here. So, do you both want to formally introduce yourselves? We can start with Teiahsha.
Sure. So my name's Teiahsha Bankhead. I'm the executive director of Restorative Justice for Oakland Youth. And I'm a social justice activist, a racial justice advocate. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and a retired professor of social work who was a research professor for 20 years. I have both an MSW and a PhD from UC Berkeley School of Social Welfare. So maybe I'll just start with that for now.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Randy, do you want to take it next?
Sure. Heck, good afternoon / morning, wherever you are, folks. My name is Randy Seriguchi. I'm the executive director of Urban Ed Academy. We're a nonprofit based in San Francisco, California, with a mission to place one Black male teacher in every elementary school in the Bay Area. I'm an attorney by trade and had a chance to teach during law school to learn that I'm personally not a great teacher, but learned of the importance of representation in the classroom, and have been doing this work with Urban Ed for the past 6 years, trying to build up to a place where we can get more Black male educators in schools and do that by housing them and taking care of their credential work. Thanks for the time today.
Of course. So, racial justice is, of course, a year-round, activity. It's, not something that is only going on during Black History Month. But I do want to kind of start off with talking about the use of Black History Month as a time to highlight not only Black history, but racial justice causes that are ongoing. I was wondering if the both of you could talk about, the importance of Black History Month as a awareness and advocacy season to each of your nonprofits. We can start with Teiahsha, and then we'll go to you, Randy.
Yeah, I'm happy to say a little bit about that. So, Restorative Justice for Oakland Youth has been around for about 17 years, and we're credited with bringing kind of a racial justice lens to, I would say, the restorative justice movement, the modern movement that's here and has been around for the last 40 years. So, we really center in our work racial healing, racial justice, truth telling, and reconciliation from both past and present racialized harms. So we work in 4 areas. One is around transforming education in the juvenile justice systems to end youth criminalization and youth incarceration as we know it. We also have worked to develop a research institute that's focused on restorative justice and to create learning communities for teachers with a focus on kind of restorative responses. We also work in truth telling, racial healing, and reconciliation. And what that means for us is that we bring together people who are the descendants of formerly enslaved people and people who were the descendants of enslavers to work on reconciliation. And so we have 52 chapters in 16 states where that work is being done. We also do work around community restorative justice, hosting racial healing circles that happen every week, about 10 of them that are for affinity groups. And we respond when there's violence, domestic violence, gun violence, as well as doing consultation, training, and education. So that's kind of like the scope of work, a big part of it, not all of it, for restorative justice for Oakland. And Black History Month is then kind of critical to our nonprofit because the gains and the triumphs and wins of Black Americans have not been told, or they've been hidden. And there continues to be a disproportionate, poor life outcomes for Black people on measures like wealth and health and income and employment and housing and access to technology. And those things are embedded in this history of oppression and racialized practices that continue to really harm Black people. There's also that issue of internalized oppression that limits or that puts limitations that we place on ourselves. So our organization really kind of teaches and leads and engages our community to think differently about these issues, to challenge dominant and harmful stereotypes about Black people. And we engage youth and adults in these weekly restorative justice circles that really are transformative. They help people promote mental wellness. They create an opportunity for people to come together where they can work out their challenges and interrupt cycles of harm. And so we are really focused on reconciliation using restorative justice practices and principles, serving about 75% people who are of African descent and 90% of BIPOC people, Black and Indigenous people of color, in our weekly programs. So Black History Month is an opportunity to kind of shine a light on this work that we're doing every day, but to also kind of open up the circle to let more and more people in who are connected to these issues, no matter what their kind of racial background is, particularly those who are interested in justice and finding their way and their place in it.
Right. I think that combination of education about this painful history with also talking about current organizing and the restorative justice work is really important during the season. Randy, do you want to take it away with Urban Ed Academy and the importance of this awareness season for your mission?
Sure. Yeah, and as already been said, Black History Month is a month. It's in February, but our work definitely seeks to try to install that for a year-round effect. Our mantra, since I started here and even before I got here, was that representation matters. We started out as a Saturday school, placing Black men in front of Black boys, and that level of connectivity for those boys is important from a racial equity standpoint. But this putting more Black male teachers in schools is really a benefit for everybody. It helps us all heal. It helps communities outside of the Black community better understand and appreciate what Black leadership is and looks like. And we focus on elementary school students because we want to start early. But those impacts last throughout a child's life, we believe. And so I think what's important about this month is that we do get a light to shine on it now, and everybody kind of perks up a little bit more. And with this month being a celebration of Black excellence at all fits, I think this particular Black History Month is really important because of the times that we're seeing, in places like Virginia, other places across the country, with what's happening around the backlash with critical race theory, which is a whole nother conversation. I definitely don't want to get into that. But what I think resonates with us in our work is that history is fluid. One, it's written by whoever writes it first. But two, there's definitely a backward-facing element to history, learning and appreciating where we've been so we can improve on where we're going. But that where we're going part is where we're trying to focus. And this forward-facing piece around getting a chance to create history, no matter what the curriculum is, starts with who is in front of our kids, who is in front of these students. And so I think Black History Month, in some ways, too, is about actualizing Black impact on America and on all of our communities. And I think we lead through this perch of engineering representation in schools. We've seen a lot of activities and initiatives over the past, let's say, like 7 to 8 years, starting with the My Brother's Keeper initiative that came out of the Obama administration. And what we got a chance to see then, just doing some research, is that everybody's pretty tapped out, from cities, counties, states, tackling this issue around racial justice. Clearly nobody has gotten it perfect. But when you focus in on where we can actually have some appreciable impact, both in the short and long term, schools tend to be at the top of that list. And you can't have, we think, a great city without great schools. And you certainly can't have great schools without great teachers. And during a teacher shortage, we're not firing anybody. So what does it look like for us to double dip and be able to also close some racial equity gaps with the same, swing of the pendulum? We're really happy to be able to talk about this now, but clearly we're going to be pushing for representation for the long haul. And hopefully we're talking a little bit more about this again next year too.
That's very well said. I think that, you talk about representation matters, especially in education, of course, is one of the most important places that historically a lot of education from elementary school towards upper education has been, predominantly white. I think one area of representation that is really important to us at the Giving Block is making sure that, we can do everything we can to provide access to people of color in the nonprofit world to use cryptocurrency to, the best of their ability to support their missions. I was wondering if you guys could talk about how your nonprofit found out about crypto, or you personally found out about crypto, and kind of the decision process that came to accept it. We can go ahead and start with you, Randy, and then we'll go to Teiahsha.
So the specific connection, I personally found out about crypto just being in the Bay Area now for the last 6 years. It definitely seems like just a common conversation point for folks there. But as I've been traveling and getting a better understanding of how far we have to go really with this, we were honored to have a board member introduce us to the Giving Block in particular as a place just to be able to start the organizational relationship to crypto as a donation platform or medium. And he walked us through it because as a nonprofit, we're pretty locked in on our mission. And it was a little bit of scope creep for us to try to get involved with what it means to manage a wallet, be able to kind of move sources around digitally. But it's fantastic onboarding experience with the Giving Block so far. I got to shout out our board member. His name is Chris Russi, for getting us connected to the leadership there. And we're really looking forward to this year. I know there's been some ups and downs with the stock market and other trading mediums, but yeah, we're very excited about continuing our relationship.
That's amazing to hear. I think you mentioned one thing about, Urban Ed being very, of course, focused on your mission. I think that's something that we think about a lot at TGB, which is, a lot of nonprofits come to us talking about, their interest in crypto and all of these projects they want to do on their own to, set up, 40 different wallets or whatever to have one wallet for each crypto. And the fact is that a lot of nonprofits don't have the bandwidth for that. They're going all cylinders on achieving their mission, which is why we really want to make it as easy as possible for them to be able to accept 50 plus, 60 plus cryptos without, too much effort on their end as far as setting all of that up. Teiahsha, do you want to take it from your end, how you found out about crypto and how RJOY Oakland decided to accept it?
Yeah, I'm happy to tackle that question. I mean, I think for us, we were always interested in diversifying our revenue streams. I myself come from like a fundraising development background where, I've been involved in lots of different ways of engaging in fundraising. And I was interested in just the critical questions of like, how does a conscious company or a conscious individual create like a corporate give back program, or, especially an American company, how do individuals who have access to cryptocurrencies, who've had gains and want to make a contribution, how can they do that to us, right? So it really came from that place, but not really understanding how to engage or make the connection in a way that would be seamless for our nonprofit. And so I just did some investigations and lots of conversations. There certainly are conversations about cryptocurrency here in the Bay Area where we live. Silicon Valley is big. It's a cover of San Francisco now, I would say, and Oakland. But still, there's a lot of uncertainty and just not good information about blockchain technology. And I would say that's true in the nonprofit world, very much so. So I just kind of studied, started kind of talking to people and learning about things. And I would say, found out about Satoshi Nakamoto and his, paragraph white paper, and really just got interested in that possibility actually for us. But for us, really, the focus has been on wanting to partner with, companies and individuals that really are wishing to do social good, to increase social capital, to kind of engage in, public goods funding. And we really wanted to be a part of that movement. We want to be a part of that movement as early adopters, or adopters. And so that's how that has started for us. We also felt like there's this, mission alignment around wanting to use crypto to imagine, to innovate, imagine how lives might be improved. So for us, there's a big focus on like increasing access to communities that don't have access to these technologies. So being able to receive donations in this way puts us in closer connection with the community of innovators around technology. I feel is needed for our community, for the community of primarily low-income, marginalized BIPOC people that we serve. And so that has been it's been wonderful in terms of the donations and the connection with the Giving Block. We have, a crypto donation, button on which we didn't have on our website, which we didn't have before. And we're learning and kind of leading, I would say, others, just because it feels like it's still early in this process where a lot of nonprofits are shy or anxious or frightened to engage in this way. I would say my board was very supportive and interested. Once I presented this, they just wanted to learn more, thought it was a great idea, wanted more education for themselves and for the other environments that they are, other boards that they're on, that kind of thing. Yeah.
That's amazing. No, it's great to hear how receptive your board was. I think, maybe in the tech world or some of these, younger online, build fast break things, there's this misconception that nonprofits are not necessarily quick to innovate. And I think at TGB, we found that's really not true. Nonprofits are always looking for new ways to, of course, add revenue streams, but also, as you say, there's ways that cryptocurrency has so much potential for, it's already become very innovative, but there's lots of, future paths for that to help achieve their missions. One thing I at a previous company I worked was with it was a crypto market, but it was based out of primarily Nigeria and a lot of West Africa. And one of the main things we encountered was this massive population of unbanked peoples. There are many nations in Africa where over 50% of the population does not have a bank account, and this is, of course, a major blocker towards innovation and being able to start your own business, get loans, things like that. And we found that crypto was a solution to that. And I think that's a world away from the US, but there are similar scenarios where many people don't have access to banks. That we have, of course, the history of redlining. There's lots of financial systemic barriers to people of color and people of all sorts of demographics, whether it just be more impoverished communities or gay couples trying to get mortgages, what have you. There's so many areas of potential for cryptocurrency to allow previously forgotten demographics to improve their situation. But going to the most obvious use case for crypto for nonprofits, this alternative revenue stream. I was wondering if the both of you could kind of give us a kind of view of impact for what crypto donations mean to both of you. How are these donations making a material impact? How can they, change your ability to achieve your missions? We can start with you, Randy, and then go to Teiahsha.
So I definitely want to build a little bit more on the theme of access. That I would say the short answer to the question is it increases the level of access that the public has generally to our work and to our vision. This vision that in a way is very specific, putting Black male educators in schools with the students of all colors, but certain as a support directly from a place standpoint for Black students, and building the tent out though as we possibly can. The pathway that crypto helps carve out for us with, I would say, across generations, because one, the teaching profession, particularly for African American educators, is a little older. And when you look at leadership across at least Northern California, some of the superintendencies, et cetera, you're not talking about folks that will be the future over the next 10, 20, 30 years in these schools. And so just being able to have the conversation point around crypto as a pathway of either a revenue stream or a gift or a donation opens up a lot of different doors with having conversations with new folks, and that stakeholder is set. It gives us actually a shotgun approach because we have different stakeholders we're trying to talk to. Certainly folks that can give and can help support and accelerate the mission. But this also goes down into these young men, these 22 to 30-year-olds, depending on how long it take to get through their college journey. Talking to them and being able to explain to them how big of a tent the sub community looks like on the back end of this is another attractive piece. The Bay Area and Silicon Valley, has that allure, but to be able to say we actually have a segment of the community that's supporting this strictly through the crypto and digital means, it is awesome. It's been great. As far as impact goes, every little bit helps a lot. We take $1 to however many folks are willing to give, or from just the cost perspective, just to talk to folks here on the call, we invest an average of $100K per fellow to matriculate them through our 4-year fellowship development pipeline. But there are additional costs around getting them here and protecting them so that they can actually stay and thrive in the profession. There's this inspiration campaign on the front end where we've been executing and engaging with historically Black colleges and universities in particular. There are about 100 in this country. None of them are in California. At least there's one in Southern California, but they are graduate school. This inspiration campaign of getting men from 0 to 1 who have never thought about teaching and now all of a sudden are considering coming to serve and really pay to serve in one of the most expensive areas in the country. Building that out has been interesting. And the communications around that, again, are certainly supported and supplemented by this additional wave of crypto backing. Actually, I want to give a quick shout out to Kamal Hubbard, being able to, again, talk about it with different stakeholders and then being able to talk about it with adjacent folks who have other platforms to give us a chance to share the work. This flavor of support is a special new wave of being able to do it, and yeah, we're really grateful for the opportunity and the platform.
Thankful. Thank you for saying that. Teiahsha, do you want to take it next?
Yes, thank you. So I would say there's some general ways in which, crypto has meaning and impact on our nonprofit, and then there's some very specific ones for RJOY. So I would say generally, it helps to diversify funding and gives us more access to typically a younger, more tech-savvy kind of donor or companies that are interested in supporting us. It allows for more innovation. So much of our government grants or others are quite restricted, and the restriction makes it difficult to innovate because it's so prescriptive on what it is that we can do with the funding that we receive. So it has a very strict limitation that doesn't allow for much flexibility as the needs of our community change. So for us, crypto helps with kind of restorative economics, which is one of the focus of our organization. Is if engaged in racial healing, we need to be thoughtful about repairing and reconciling from a history of kind of economic oppression as well. So we have much more flexibility with crypto donations and that programming. So specifically for us, 3 projects that our crypto donations have supported, and where we need more support in those areas. So one of them is for our development of a restorative justice hub space. So we were able to last month purchase a restorative justice hub space in downtown Oakland for BIPOC-led organizations that are doing social good. So increasing racial equity in downtown Oakland. It's a $2.5 million building that we purchased that we're renovating right now. And we have a mortgage on it, and we have, renovation costs. And so crypto donations help to support us moving in that direction. What happens at the building, besides, housing other organizations that are doing this work, is that we have our own internal restorative economics program. So one of them employs high school students, excuse me, who are growing produce at our farm, which we bought in 2020, where they're testing, bath bombs basically, and they're growing things at the farm like lavender and figs, and experimenting with bees and with honey that comes from the bees to be infused into the body products and sold at our retail store at this space that we just bought, right? So the goal is restorative economics, and that is teaching youth and other BIPOC community members how to engage in our economy as not just a net consumer, but also a significant producer, to be aware of kind of racial injustice that has historically had an economic impact for generations. And the youth get to see what's needed from beginning to end, all the steps that are involved in the process from start to finish, to create something, to grow something, to be innovative, to use their creativity to launch every aspect of a related product, from growing to packaging and marketing and production and inventory and sales. And so literally physical space that we have in Oakland, as well as the farm that we have in Jackson, California, is supporting this kind of racial healing and restorative economics project. And that is funded, in large part through unrestricted donations like crypto donations. In 2020, we also purchased a 10-acre farm and a healing center. Really, it sounds like we did a lot of purchasing, but really they were opportunities, and they both have mortgages, and we would love to eliminate those mortgages, actually. But it helped us in buying this farm to create a healing retreat center where people who are exposed to gun violence or domestic violence in the BIPOC communities can have a retreat center, a wellness center to go to, and to engage in life planning using kind of a restorative justice practice and based on restorative justice principles. So crypto donations for us can help build out the sites of those 2 spaces, the retreat center and the hub in downtown Oakland, to help pay off the mortgage, to help us develop a strong infrastructure in both of those places to make it more available to a wider range of community members. And specifically at the farm, we're interested in paying a farm manager for the site and developing another structure on the site.
That's phenomenal. And for those listening that are live or on our future recordings, you can donate over 60 different cryptos of your choice to Restorative Justice for Oakland Youth and Urban Ed Academy, both on their websites and on the Giving Block donation page. We have a few more minutes here. I want to wrap with, it's kind of a cheesy, vague question, so you can take it how you want. But so this is live, but it's also going up on, it'll eventually go on YouTube and on some of our blog posts. So, a lot of different people across the crypto community will be able to listen to this. If you could give, one message to the crypto community, what would it be? Do you want to take it first, Randy?
Sure. And thank you, everybody, for listening and sticking around. This has been a great experience. One message I would say is, from our vantage as newbies to the space, the power of crypto and the ability to innovate really rests in the power of the multiplier effect. And we need really to create a compound effect of racial equity and racial healing through our schools. That's our selected medium. But our hope and our vision is that for every Black male teacher we recruit to San Francisco and to Oakland, that we recruit, train, and house, we have at least one crypto backer who we can point to as part of the village that got them there. That's going to help us recruit more of those guys and recruit more people to support them beyond it. And we're grateful for any and all things that you can do to help us push our mission.
Thank you, Randy. Teiahsha, do you want to close us out here?
Yeah, I would say, I don't know if there's one message. I guess my message would be that you can do good and spark innovation with social, crypto giving, socially responsible crypto giving, and that giving crypto is a concrete way to really increase racial justice and racial healing and restorative economics and reconciliation. If you give to RJOY, for sure. And we believe that an investment in positive community relationships and racial just actions results in a healthy community, really for all, for everyone. And so I'd encourage individuals and companies to network with us, and we'll connect you with like tax professionals to help support the tax advantage ways of giving, or contact us and let us help you build out an office of corporate responsibility, because that's also a powerful, impactful way to build out racial equity programming. And it's also very concrete and something that we can look to send others to, and to kind of hold you up as an early adopter around using resources, crypto resources, for the betterment of our entire community and our nation.
Thank you, Teiahsha. Once again, for those listening, you can donate cryptocurrency to both RJOY Oakland and Urban Ed Academy on their websites, as well as on our website. Be sure to follow us at The Giving Block. You can follow Urban Ed Academy at, very simply, Twitter at Urban Ed Academy. And RJOY Oakland is the same, at RJOY Oakland. Be sure to give them a follow so you can keep up with their missions, especially during this important awareness period.
Let me just tell you that it's RJOY, Restorative Justice for Oakland Youth, not RJOY, but RJOY.
I'm slurring my speech, of course, over the lack of water. I should have got a cup of water earlier. Thank you for correcting that. But it's been great to have you both, Teiahsha and Randy. I really appreciate you joining me today.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting us and for the invitation to be here.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week.
Yeah, you too. All right. Have a good one, guys.
Bye now.